This is a question that has been lingering in everyone's mind. What happened to Mugen? Mugen used to be one of the most, or not Mugen, sorry, specifically Mugen JUS, was considered one of the most popular Mugen genres back in 2020. It only had a lot of room to grow, and it was growing. You had multiple channels such as Tower Games, if I remember his name correctly, which had like millions of views covering different Gokus. You had commentating channels such as Axelife that made multiple videos covering different Mugen characters and just reacting to gameplay. Although I was never a big fan of his type of content, I was always happy that he existed because he brought a lot of communities together. And you had multiple different creators. Sure, a lot of them were edits and not those that good, but today, besides Michael Tutu, I'm not considering Incep, maybe Petaminx. There are more creators who are going to release their stuff, but like besides Michael, pretty much, he's the only one keeping Mugen JUS alive. So what exactly happened? How did we come to this? And this is exactly the type of topic I actually want to discuss right now in this video.
I'll make a brief history of JUS, but I'm not talking about specifically the sprite style, but the gameplay style. And this was created by the grandfather Michael 8888. If you're unfamiliar with this creator, he was the one that used to make multiple different characters and keeping the same style, because Mugen back before 2020, besides a small amount of creators, usually everyone used to have different characters with completely different controls buttons, and it was annoying, unbalanced and everything. And Michael was, from my knowledge, the only and first creator to actually have released a huge amount of different characters, and they feel consistent with the button layouts, the amount of health they have, how much damage they do, that you could have actually had screen packs with only Michael's 8888 characters, and don't confuse him for Michael 22, that's someone else, Michael 8888, and completely enjoy Mugen for somewhat balanced reasons. But another thing that why he made the JUS genre so popular for Mugen was because of the simplicity of the controls. Usually Mugen characters were always super difficult to learn and everyone had different controls, but his was very basic and simple. You had A, B and C for attacks, down backwards button or down forward button for specials, and either one button for ultimate or a combination or whatever. But every single character was very consistent. This was the first time for Mugen to see such a thing, of characters being consistent, and everyone started to adapt his style and continue being consistent, where a completely different creator would create a JUS character in the same gameplay style as Michael, where you could put Michael character against another creator's character and it still feels like it's from the same game, from the same direction, from the same vision, in comparison to how Mugen was before, where, like I said, different buttons, characters were different sizes, different graphics. It was a mess. So I think that was the first step that started to make Mugen very popular, was that it pretty much created a consistency that Mugen never had before, and also casual friendly. And then what happened later was that so many new creators started to come and make very high quality characters that you could realistically release it for a full-fledged Mugen game and even earn money on it, sell it. And it only improved more and more and more. And then the whole engine started to improve by someone creating a completely new engine called Ikimen or Ikimen. And all of a sudden we have new features, all of a sudden it supports all of Mugen characters, there's progress. And that's when the community was the loudest, in different Discord servers, on YouTube especially. You had so many different creators that used to constantly cover different new character releases and everything. And then there's the topic of, well, why did the popularity started to shift downwards? Why are less and less creators making characters? And I believe I know the reason why.
I myself am trying to keep the Mugen community alive by I keep releasing, covering the characters that we have. I want to try and encourage creators to do their best and cover their stuff. And I'm not going to be like only supportive. I'm going to be honest, of course, all the time. I will give critiques where I think stuff can be improved, and yeah, sometimes I'm wrong. Yeah, sometimes people disagree with me, but so what? I am helping the community by covering and showing that we have a lot of interest. I'm actually playing the characters. I'm showing the potential that you can have with it, and I think that's very important. And I think this is exactly what is missing as of now in Mugen. We're missing commentators, reaction people, and I don't necessarily mean by saying reaction like reacting to gameplay, although even those you could argue are missing, but specifically people who can give feedback to the creators, to give motivation to creators to make more characters. Because think about it logically, you're a creator, you put a lot of money into someone creating sprites for you, that costs money. It eats a lot of your spare time to create the characters, and unless you're Rebelio or Incept, most people don't ask money for creating characters. And think about it, right? They put so much effort into their characters, they do it out of passion, and then it's like nobody is making any videos on them, nobody is covering their characters, it's like no one cares. So they ask themselves, why should I keep making it? Nobody cares. And that's exactly what I think used to hold the community together. You had a community, everyone spoke. There was a few people who I will call out who used to criticize, specifically creators by the way, who used to criticize those type of people. They criticize me a lot for reviewing. Now, sure, you can critique me, that's fine, but they were, actually I'm not going to call them out, but they were very blatant in like, yeah, I should not make any videos at all. Well then what's the point? People want to, like, you're a creator, do you not want to see people play your stuff? Or do you prefer everyone to just lick your ass and only say the stuff you want to hear? That's not how it works. You can disagree, that's fine, but it's very healthy for the community to talk. People don't speak enough, they don't talk enough. And I think that's exactly what's missing. And it's also, like I said, that toxicity from some creators who prefer to shut people down when they have thoughts or opinions. It doesn't matter even if the opinion is not that important or not that good. At least people are speaking. At least people are showing that they care. And it's very missing. So my main message is to those creators, you might know exactly who you are. Stop calling people out or criticizing them for reacting to characters. They do what they love. You discourage them from doing that, and then you're making the community dead. So stop it. And secondly, look, I cannot, unfortunately, I'm not big enough of a channel to make everyone come back to Mugen, but hopefully my main message is talk a lot in communities, share your thoughts and opinions, even if they're negative, even if you want to share your ideas or like anything, just talk, be alive. I think this is exactly what is missing in the Mugen community, and I think what can make the Mugen JUS specifically genre community come back together is if people start talking again. Doesn't matter if you say something bad, you say something good, just talk. Anything, just say anything, and I think the Mugen community can thrive once again. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and as always I wish upon everyone to have a wonderful day.